Okay, let's get this show on the road. Okay, the webinar has started. Welcome everyone. Welcome to this second special webinar from Conservation Careers, where we're here talking about the Conservation Pathway Programme. And today what we're going to do is we're going to go behind the scenes, show you a bit more about Pathway Programme, remind you what it's all about, okay, and do a Q&A, answer any questions you might have. We are a minute or two late, so I'm sorry for kind of keeping you there in the waiting room. Welcome. Thank you for coming along, everyone. My name's Nick from Conservation Careers. I'm the founder and director. I'm based here in Oundle in Northamptonshire in the UK. And we're going to have a much more kind of informal, relaxed event this evening. You know, we had the webinar last Thursday. If you didn't come to that and missed it, it's available on our website. You can kind of watch the replay. We talked through all the details of the program in quite a lot of detail, and also kind of gave you a big introduction as to why you might want to switch careers into conservation, what pathway to follow, okay, and then how the program can help you, or how you can also do it on your own. Joining me today is my co-pilot, my partner in crime, Christy Foster. Hey, Christy.
Hi, Nick. Hi, everyone who's joining. Yeah, super excited to be here again. I'm head of engagement at Conservation Careers, and we've kind of quietly been putting together this program for, I guess, about a year now. So
Yeah.
to give you like a glimpse into what it's all about, like Nick said, behind the scenes. So super exciting moment for us.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's been a year in the making. Well, it's been 10 years in the making, but a year since we really clarified exactly what we wanted to do and how it was going to work. And then we spent the last year and the last 6 months really kind of doubling down on it. So yeah, it's kind of good to be at this point. So we're going to keep this fairly sweet and punchy tonight. Okay, what we're going to do is cover three things. I'm going to do a really quick recap, okay, as to what the conservation pathway program is. Sorry, in a bit of detail. So if you missed that webinar, okay, or you want a quick reminder, like what is it and what's included, okay, we're going to talk you through that again, just as a quick recap. Then we're going to go behind the scenes. We're going to kind of dive into our private members community, CC Pro, okay, and we're going to kind of show you what it looks like, how it's going to work, that sort of stuff, okay? And then we're going to answer any questions you might ask us, okay? And feel free just to kind of ask questions using the Q&A button as we go, okay? If you do want to do that, that's fine. Keep your questions quite short, please. So like a sentence maximum, okay? It's quite hard to read long questions out when we have lots of them here in a kind of webinar format, but you can keep them quite short and punchy, and we'll keep half an eye on the wall. Do also bear in mind, we might answer some of those questions at the top as well as we kind of walk through the details, the features, and how it's going to work. So you can always sit back, just kind of relax, watch, listen to us for a little while, and then we'll hand over for questions at the end. So it's up to you. We'll keep an eye on them. But what's a nice way to kind of start is if you can jump to the chat box. We'd love to kind of hear from you as to where you are. So if you want to say a quick hello in the chat box, that'd be wonderful. So I'm Nick. I'm in Oundle in the UK. Would love to hear from you guys. Who are you and where are you? Okay, and we'll kind of give you a little bit of a name check too to kind of see where you are. It's always nice to see that. Right, okay. While people are jumping to chat then and sort of sharing their names and where they are, let's just do a quick recap, I think, Christy, as to, why work in conservation, and also, why should career switchers become, conservationists or consider becoming conservationists? I think, well, I'll kind of take the first one. So, why work in conservation? Well, I think, conservation, it's one. I mean, I've been lucky enough, privileged enough now to be working in conservation for 20 years in lots of different roles, from science and research to communications, marketing, fundraising, consultancy, and doing whatever this is now at Conservation Careers. Running a business for good. And I think the main thing that conservation brings, and a lot of people are looking for, is a real sense of purpose. And fulfillment that I think few other professions can really offer. It's really nice to kind of wake up on a Monday morning and be excited about going to work, knowing that what you're doing is making a real difference, okay? And it's also leaving a bit of a lasting legacy as well. It's working for good, okay? That what you're doing is kind of helping to kind of benefit, the greater good that we all want to do in the world. Sadly, wildlife does need us as well. I just want to kind of just touch on that at the top, because I think it's worth kind of remembering, unfortunately, the Earth is under threat right now, from habitat destruction, from climate change, and we are seeing, wildlife that we all care and love about sort of slowly slipping away. We're winning, some battles, but we are unfortunately still losing the war. So we need more people joining the cause, getting behind it and helping us to kind of turn this around. conservationists, we know what the problems are. We know what the vast majority of the solutions are too, actually. We just need more people supporting our cause. And one way to support that is to become a conservationist. But Christy, I mean, why should, career switchers be considering conservation as a profession, as something to be kind of looking towards? You got any thoughts around that?
So many reasons, but while I try and answer, Nick, can you enable the chat? I think we might have blocked people, and I don't have the powers.
Oh no. Okay, I'll do my absolute best. Okay. Did I hand over? You said hello, by the way. Have I even said hi to Christy? Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah, briefly. I don't think I mentioned where I am, since kind of all sharing where we're based. I'm in Vancouver, Canada. So other side of the pond from Nick.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, we talked about this a little bit on last week's webinar about like why should career switchers consider conservation or want to work in conservation. And I like to first touch on all the reasons that we hear that career switchers shouldn't, and see if you relate to any of these. I think what we hear about conservation is that it's super competitive. It's hard to get into. It's really exclusive in a way. And most people we talk to who are thinking about switching careers say that they imagine they'll have to start at the bottom. They'll have to retrain. They'll have to go back to school. They're going to compete with recent graduates. It's too late. Maybe they think age is an issue, and they think employers just won't recognize their skills and their experience because it's from outside of the sector. So typically you hear about a lot of reasons not to, and I think a lot of people get discouraged, but actually when you're in the sector, you realize that a lot of employers are looking for the kind of experience that career switchers bring in, the kind of experience and skills that most recent graduates haven't got, just from a degree. So I just think career switchers bring a wealth of skills and experience and value to the sector that is really what we need now. We need people with different skill sets, and we need people who are really passionate about having an impact in the sector. So not too late. All the reasons in the world to join, and you're needed if you're thinking about switching into conservation.
Yeah, really well put. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sorry the chat's not enabled at the moment. I couldn't quite find that button either. I have made you full co-host as well, Christy, and you managed to enable it the other day. So if you can have another go, apologies for everyone. We'll circle back. We do want to hear from you. We do love kind of hearing who you are and where you are, and kind of painting a picture of all the people that are on the call as well. So yeah, do bear with us while we kind of figure that piece out. I thought I'd sorted that before, but never mind. Okay. So
should be good. I think it's like a little hidden button.
Have you got it? Okay, that's great. Thank you. Okay. I'm just trying to share my screen. It says host disabled participant screen sharing as well. Why? Could you make me host as well? Me host as well, please, Christy? Not as slick as the other night so far, are we? For some reason, it's not letting me share my screen, and I want to share my screen tonight. So, yeah, reclaim.
Don't know.
I might have done it. There we go. Okay. Thank you. Right, bear with me, everyone. Okay, so let's do a quick recap. Okay, if you're on the webinar the other day, okay, I'll go quite quick. Okay, just to kind of touch on some key points. So a recap as to why the program is important and what program it is. Okay, before we go behind the scenes and answer any questions you might have. So what we see with career switchers, okay, who come to us and that we support into employment, are kind of three key areas that are really important to tackle, okay, when kind of looking to kind of reorientate your career from perhaps something outside of conservation into it. And you can see them here on screen, okay. Really clarity. Clarity is so important, being clear as to which career path you'd like to follow, which job you'd like to secure. And we talked about how jobs can be a combination of roles, okay, like fundraiser, communicator, scientist, and causes like climate change and sustainability and ecotourism and barn owls or whatever, okay, and that you can have either one or the other or a combination of, but having that clarity really helps you to figure out exactly what your destination is and which direction you're moving towards. Okay, so clarity is really key. And we talked about that quite a lot in the webinar and helped to kind of provide some clarity for you. The second piece really that falls into place at that point is having a plan. Okay, so having a plan of action to understand for the job types that you're leaning towards and the pathway that you'd like to follow, what are employers looking for? What are the kind of essential and desirable skills? Okay, what do you already have as a career switcher? You've probably got a lot more than you realize actually that's really valued within the sector and valued within some of the kind of job types that we can paint a really clear picture around. But there's always going to be some gaps, so it's likely there'll be some gaps. So having a plan in place is going to help you to understand what are those gaps and how can you best fill them. Okay. And then finally, I think what you need to kind of bring to the table and have with you is confidence. Okay. Something we see regularly and is totally understandable is kind of this feeling of being an outsider. Okay. And conservation maybe being, perhaps a bit elitist or exclusive. Okay. And you have this kind of imposter syndrome of kind of wanting to, break through, but finding it quite hard to do so. At the same time, you need confidence to kind of deliver the plan and make it happen as well. Okay. And the motivation, to kind of to drive that through. If one of those kind of three bits are missing, it can really hold you back, and it can really kind of drain you, and it can even stop you in your tracks entirely. Okay. So really important to kind of think through those three areas. Now, pathways into conservation, have been really quite missing from the sector. I mean, almost entirely, really. If you think about other professions, if you think about, teachers and doctors and lawyers, and other professions like that, they're too numerous to mention, they have quite well-defined pathways. You understand if you do this, if you get this degree or this master's and so on, you do this, that, and the other, then you can secure that job. This is the route to follow. Conservation, it's enormous. We've listed over 50, 60,000 jobs over the last 10 years, and almost as many job titles, okay, within that. So it's big, it's bewildering, it's confusing, it's diversifying, it's growing all the time, which is part of why clarity becomes really important to understand. But as a result, it means that, career paths just really haven't been laid down fully yet. So if you want to kind of jump into the sector from outside, until now, it's been quite hard to navigate those options and then have a path to follow like the other professions do. And so what we've done over the last, a year or so, as Christy was talking about, is kind of start to really kind of lay down and create the pathway that has been so missing. Okay, and so I just want to do a quick recap as to what is the conservation pathway, okay, before we talk about the program. The pathway is this 9-step program you can see in front of us, okay? It's a unique program, okay? It's all about securing the conservation job of your dreams without wasting time and money, okay? And it's what really successful people do really well, kind of naturally, and why often they're getting, many of the jobs, okay? And it's also what's really nice about it, and we'll rerun a poll that we did the other night, so it really helps. It's a quick and easy kind of self-assessment tool to kind of see where you are and see where you're strong and see where you might want to level up as well. Each of the 9 steps, okay, has bite-sized actions associated with them. So let's just do a quick run through as a quick recap as to what are the 9 steps, okay, and what's included in them, okay? So first step on your pathway, and you can do this totally on your own, okay? And this goes with everything we're talking about here. You don't have to do it with us, you can do it on your own, okay? So feel free to make notes, okay, and follow this yourselves, okay? So first one is reflect, okay? Really important. This step really helps you to discover what's important in your career. So as a career switcher, if you feel like you've made any kind of poor choices to date, you want to ensure you don't make them again, right? Okay, so before launching into your career, it's really important to take a deep breath and just reflect on what's really important to you. Within what context are you going to thrive? What do you love doing? What are you great at doing? Okay, do you like working in teams or on your own? We're also different. What are your values? Okay, what have you learned from your career so far? What do you want to bring with you? What do you want to leave behind? There's lots of different ways of looking at who you are and what's unique. Okay, particularly as a career switcher that you've had a career already, okay, and you might be looking to pivot and reorient. It's worth just taking time just to reflect and understand, okay, as much as possible to build what we call a career compass, something that's going to direct you as you go forwards along the pathway. Second up is explore, okay, so this step really helps you to explore which conservation jobs or other jobs, okay, might be right for you. Our role here isn't to kind of funnel you into conservation, especially if it's not right for you, okay? Really what we want is you to connect with the right job, to identify the right job for you personally, individually, okay? And then work towards that as quickly and efficiently as possible, okay? We hope it's conservation. You're obviously interested in conservation. It might be outside of the sector, in which case that's cool also, okay? We just want the right job for you. Okay, so exploration is really about understanding all the different options that are out there, the employment landscape, if you like, and where you would like to fit. What is your niche? What's your sweet spot? Okay. What's the destination you're aiming towards? And then finally, the third step in the kind of 3 steps here is immersion. Okay. So having identified maybe 1, 2, 3 pathways that look and sound really interesting, that are getting you excited, getting your heart pumping. Okay. Then it's time to really start engaging in them, immersing yourself in them, setting up job alerts to understand, well, who are the employers, what they're looking for, what they're hiring for, listening to podcasts, or, going to reading websites, getting the newsletters, okay, from the relevant themes and the different employers, reading books, joining groups, speaking to pathway pros, like experts, professionals working in that particular area, to really get yourself up to speed and understand, okay, is this right for you? And start to inform yourself as to exactly what's going to help you to become employable as you move, Christy, into the next step, which is plan.
Yeah, I love that, because as you can see, that we put a lot of emphasis on the almost pre-work, like the prep, before going and getting training, or going and getting experience. We find a lot of people jump into that stuff because as humans we like to do stuff and feel productive, but when you're switching careers, you're probably doing it because something in your values doesn't feel like it's in alignment, and you've got a picture of what you want. So that's why there's so much emphasis on the self-reflection and also the exploration, so you can find what's right for you, because it's a big jump and it's a big change.
Yeah.
So yeah, now in kind of the middle phase, we've got plan. So we find that a lot of people, like I said, they jump into getting training and experience without really having gotten clear about their goals and how they're going to get there. And so this step is about getting clear on your pathway, creating an employment plan. So basically you can streamline that whole process and you can become employable without necessarily spending a lot of time or money doing it. From there, the next step is experience. So again, super common to hear in the conservation space that I have to spend, thousands of dollars to get experience. I need to spend a lot of time. I need to volunteer abroad, et cetera, et cetera. And you can do all those things, but it's not always necessary to get where you want to go. So this step really helps you to get hands-on experience in the pathway that you've chosen in the best way for you, as efficiently as possible. And that might be just something that you do part-time online. It might look different for everybody. Mm-hmm. And then we've got train. And again, super common for us to be asked, do I need a master's degree to work in conservation? And it turns out that for many roles you don't. For some you do, and for many you don't. So this step is about helping you complete training that's really designed to make you employable for the pathway you've chosen. And for example, some of the types of training we find are really valuable in the industry, that are often missing are communication skills, fundraising skills, project management skills, and a lot of roles. And they can benefit a lot of people. Yeah. I think Nick, you'll do the last bit.
Yeah, I'll pick up the last 3. Yeah, into the home straight really at this point, so then it's into applying, so you've got the experience, you've identified the role, okay, you've delivered a training plan, you're ready, you're fully employable, okay, for it, okay, or good enough. I just want to reference that you don't need to have everything to put in good applications. You just need to be good enough, having enough of what they're looking for, and then be able to shine, through your applications. So in applications, we help you to produce standout applications that get interviews. Okay, so it's about positioning your LinkedIn profile, okay, for your chosen pathway, to become almost like an influencer, for this particular area, to become known for it. Okay, to create a pipeline of suitable jobs to be applying for, making sure that pipeline has enough jobs flowing through it, okay, that you can be putting in applications regularly enough, okay, to give yourself a really good fighting chance of getting through to interview. And then really crafting quality, high quality applications. What we see is around 80% of applications really are of poor quality within the sector. And that's probably typical across many sectors. I don't think it's particularly unique to conservation. But it does mean if you know how to write a good application, and we can teach you and show you, okay, you can be in the top 20%, relatively easily, just based upon that one step alone. Then interviews, okay, you've got an interview. Okay, this step helps you to deliver interviews that get job offers. Okay, so preparing for expected questions, like what are you going to be your responses to them? Okay, conducting practice interviews, okay, and also delivering the great interview on the day. Okay, controlling nerves and kind of shining in front of an interview panel. And then really, that's it. You're through, conserving. This step helps you to kind of start strong in your new career. Okay. It doesn't finish there. Really, in many respects, it starts there. Okay. So celebrating your success, really important. But then starting strong, thinking about your first 90 days, what are you going to do? How are you going to make the most of it? How are you going to lay the foundations for a successful career? And even think beyond that as to what is your development plan, okay, to becoming really good and really employable, okay, within the industry beyond that initial role. Okay. So that's the kind of 9 steps of the program. What I'm going to do is I'll stop sharing there because I'd like to just kind of open a quick poll. Okay, we did this the other night, but I think it's really helpful to do it again. Okay, I'm going to launch it there. I want you to take a moment, just kind of reflect, and I'm going to read them through again really quickly. And it's a multiple choice poll. Okay, so you can choose any step that you see in front of you that you feel you've got kind of completed, that you kind of dialed in, you got it nailed down. Okay. So as I kind of go through this, kind of feel free to kind of tick the box that you think, yeah, I've got that. And don't feel obliged to put anything. Okay. It's absolutely fine to have nothing. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we can walk you through the program, but it'd be interesting to see where you are. So self-reflection, step 1, have you reviewed really thoroughly what's important in your career? Do you feel really confident you know yourself inside and out your career? Okay, and you've got a good handle on everything that's important there in terms of values and contacts, okay, and everything that kind of, about you, bringing you to the table, okay. Next up, exploration. Okay, have you really fully explored all the different jobs within the kind of conservation sector? And do you feel you've got a really kind of strong handle on them? Okay. Next up, immersion. Have you immersed yourself in your chosen role? Having identified a role, or maybe perhaps 2 or 3 roles, have you fully immersed yourself in them? Okay. Next up, plan. Have you got an employment plan in place for your chosen role? Do you know what employers are looking for? Okay, and where your gaps are and how you're going to fill them, most importantly. Have you got experience, next up, of first-hand experience of doing the role? It might be employed, it might be volunteer, it might be an intern, it might be work shadowing, it might be something else. Okay. Have you completed training for your chosen role? Okay. So having identified it, have you actually done some training specific to fill those gaps? Okay. Are you putting in high quality applications that are getting interviews? Okay. And then are you actually getting interviews? Okay. You're getting through to interview panels and getting job offers. Okay. And then finally, conservation. Are you starting strong in your career? If you are, you're probably in the wrong program, but it's good to kind of put that in there too, as the full 9 steps. Let me kind of share those results. Thank you very much, everyone, for kind of filling that in. You can see that in front of you. So where are you? So 86% of you, if the majority of you on the call, you feel like you've reviewed what's important in your career. Okay, as a career switcher, you've been in your career a while. Okay, and you feel like you've got a good handle on that. Okay. Then 43 is a bit of a drop now. Okay, you feel like you've explored the jobs in the sector. Okay, so nearly half you feel you have, but the majority of you haven't, or you feel like you've not fully understood all the options. Okay, and that's very common. Okay, we see as people kind of look into the sector thinking, I'm really interested, I'm passionate about it, but I don't really know what the jobs are and how I might fit. Okay, and then immersion and beyond, we've got kind of slightly kind of lower sums. Anything standing out from you there, Christy, as you look at that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of reflects the pathway in many ways. I guess I noticed that applications are a little bit higher. Like it suggests some of you are applying without necessarily having spent the time in the earlier steps. But that's kind of cool too, because sometimes we need to just dive in there and see what's out there in the sector and put ourselves out there and apply.
Yeah.
And that can be a learning process also. So there's nothing wrong at all with doing that. It can be a really great way to learn and practice too. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something also I think we talk in the Pathway program about, which is, be open to opportunities. It's great to have a plan. It's great to have a focus and know where you're going. But if something comes along and it looks great, and for whatever reason you want to put an application in, you should absolutely do it. You don't have to wait until you're ready and perfection, kind of aligns. Just go for it. So yeah, if you've seen applications and jobs you want to apply for, then go for it. Yeah. Okay. Well, what I'd like to do then, so that's a bit of a recap. Let's talk more specifically about the program. Okay, we'll show you behind the scenes as well. I'm going to go really quick. Okay, so I want to leave lots of time for Q&A. Okay, so let's just go super quick and kind of talk it through. Again, if you're on the call the other day, you've seen some of this, but then the behind the scenes stuff is all going to be totally new to you. Okay, so what is the conservation pathway program? So what we've done is we've taken that pathway, okay, and then we've stood back and made the most holistic, most comprehensive program that we can create to support you through that program and to give you as much support and as much training as we can deliver, okay, as you kind of work through and towards employment. It's really designed to help you to land that conservation job as fast and as easy as we can make it, okay? And there's really nothing out there kind of on the job market right now, okay, that kind of does something similar to this. So there's kind of 9 kind of core areas that I'm going to talk through. So the first 3 you can see in front of you here. Okay, the first one is almost most important of all. Okay, it's the personalized roadmap. Okay, the pathway that we're going to put you on. Okay, so as you enter the program, I'll show you in a second, you do a launchpad assessment. From that, similar to the poll we just did, we can then see where you are and where you should start, okay, on the program. So you don't all have to start at the beginning. We can put you in, you know, which the area that aligns most closely with what you need at that particular moment in time. Okay. Beyond that program, that pathway that I think you're fully familiar with now, okay, there is also then support packages. Okay, so the first one is kind of VIP support. Okay, you'll get support, and I'll show you this in a second, in our CC Pro area. Okay, and through that, if you have a question, you can kind of drop the question in. Myself, Christy, or one of the other coaches will jump in as quick as we can. Okay, and we'll answer your question as thoroughly as we can. Okay, so whether that's a quick chat answer, whether that's a video recording response, or we'll link you off to more information. If you get stuck, you know, we'll get you unstuck and get you moving forwards again through that. Beyond that, you'll also kind of get access to regular Zooms, okay, just like we're on right now, where you can jump in and ask questions of myself and other coaches like Christy, okay, to answer, to get answers to the questions that you have, okay. So they're going to be weekly Q&A Zooms, which we'll kind of walk you through again in a second a bit more. Next up, and really important as well, you know, beyond the kind of core pathway in the program, you're going to get access to our full training programs that we have at Conservation Careers, and particularly these 3 core ones. Okay, so if they're really important to the pathway that you're moving into, and most pathways, you know, will benefit from these kind of programs. That's why we built them. Okay, then you'll get access to them. So, conservation project management and design. Okay, how do you manage and create and design conservation projects? Okay, using the conservation standards, you know, industry standard, you know, well recognized across the conservation sector. How do you communicate, you know, within conservation projects? Super valuable. 41% of jobs are looking for communication skills and beyond. And then how do you raise money for conservation projects to fundraising for conservation projects? It's the whole project cycle from design to communicating to managing to funding. Okay, so important to conservation projects. You'll gain access to those programs that we have. Okay. Christy, 3 more.
Yeah, I'll go super fast. So we're running career workshops, which are basically designed to kind of supercharge your progress through the program, deepen your learning, keep you motivated, keep you moving forwards. The first one we're going to run is all about discovering what your values are. And that's coming up in July, and we'll do one each month. We've got Meet the Pros. So this is basically an opportunity to meet professional conservationists as part of like a VIP audience for chats and podcast recordings that we do. So it kind of makes networking super fun and easy, and puts you in touch with professionals directly in the community. And then something that is really important, like to keep you going with your motivation, to keep you moving forwards, is you'll have a buddy or a partner. So that's a person that will kind of be alongside you in your journey. So you're not in it alone. Yeah, it was a whistle stop tour.
Whistle stop, yeah. Last slide then, and we'll show you behind the scenes. Okay, so checkpoint supports that as you go through your pathway, we'll check in with you one-to-one and make sure that you're on track. Okay, make sure everything's aligned. Also, as you reach certain checkpoints like applications and interviews, we'll also provide one-to-one support. Okay, you'll get one application check. You'll also get an interview preparation, a practice interview session as well as you kind of go through that. So we'll mapped it out. We're kind of with you at the key points that we know are really important to kind of to check that you are where you need to be at that point. Okay. You also get access to CC Pro community. I'll share that in a second, and also unlimited access to our job board. Probably something that you're fully familiar with right now. Okay, so let's jump to like fully behind the scenes. Let me kind of stop sharing all these slides that are in front of me right now. Okay, bear with me for a second. This is the joy of having about 10 different screens on the go at any one time. Okay, yeah.
And by the way, everyone, feel free to pop questions in the Q&A if they come up. Like, we might answer them as we go, but feel free to put your questions in there anyways at any point.
Yep. Thank you, Christy. So this is behind the scenes. So this is CC Pro. Okay, this is our private members community. This isn't Facebook. Okay, we used to work on Facebook a year or two ago. We moved into CC Pro, and now we have this amazing community, totally private, and totally lovely and totally supportive of one another. Okay, now what I want to show you is going to kind of walk you through a little bit, just for orientation. So the first thing up, you'll see at the top here is like our members database. In here, you can kind of search by location, role, event, tag. You can kind of see it and find people in here. You'll see we've got 1,304 aspiring and professional conservationists in here. It's a mix of people seeking to kind of secure their first job and those that are already into employment. So it's a kind of great networking space and a really kind of fun, friendly space. Each individual in here has a profile, tells a little bit about themselves. You can also link off, look at their LinkedIn profile. You can also direct message them as well. So kind of great networking space. Okay. Let's talk through the pathway. So the pathway has its own, what we call a space group. Okay. You'll see here down the left-hand side. Now, as you enter the program, okay, we'll lead you into the kind of start here space. It's the first thing you see, okay, as you enter the program. And what we do is we have kind of 10 setup steps. They're really quick. Okay, and really easy to do. And it's just to make sure that you're fully on board, okay, with where you need to be and you're fully set up. You understand how it all works. So each step has a kind of short video explaining a little bit about that step. Okay, so the second step, the first one's just a welcome video. The second one is kind of get familiar with CC Pro, setting up your profile. So as you just saw in the members directory, tells a little bit about yourself. Make sure you've got your image and your LinkedIn profile, that sort of stuff set up. Next up, saying hello. Okay, I'll show you that in a second, and so on. So you'll see there's kind of 10 setup steps just to make sure you are fully up to speed and set up to thrive within the program. Okay. Beyond that, within the pathway area, you have our support area. This is a VIP support area. So if you drop a question in here at any time, we will get a notification as coaches. We can then come in and answer those questions, as best we can. Okay, as we've already kind of discussed. So this is the support area. We then have quite a kind of busy events calendar. Let me just kind of show you down quickly. We've got a behind the scenes that's now happening right now. So we've got a thing on Friday where you can kind of hear from career switchers who we supported into employment. They kind of share their stories. But then in kind of regular pathway kind of program, you can kind of see here. So what does it look like? So we have a member mixer coming up next week. You can meet your fellow Pathfinders. Okay. Then we have the regular weekly Q&A, either with myself or Christy or another coach. Okay. And in here, you can kind of, I'm already going, but if I'm not going, you can add it to your calendar. Let me click through. You can kind of see, you can add it to your calendar straight into kind of Google. Okay. And then you'll get a reminder as well, and a bit more detail about each event. We have our community catch-ups, regular catch-ups within CC Pro. Okay. Where anyone can come along and just kind of share what's going on and talk about things which are relevant to all. We have these pro chats. You can see we've got Niall coming up next week, who's a TV presenter, explorer, running his own charity, really inspiring figure. We've got Elizabeth Stevenson, who's the program director at the Marine Conservation Action Fund. We've also got Tara Phillips, who's setting up the Soil Centre. We've got other pro chats with Synchronicity Earth, Nina Searle, and Laura Dempsey from Volunteers for Future, and so forth. Okay. So lots of these regular moments where you can come talk to professional conservationists, hear about their careers, ask questions yourself of them. Okay. You'll see these regular kind of Q&As kind of coming through, okay, each week. Okay. Yeah. And then they've got some career clinics as well, which is a kind of more of a monthly event, a kind of group coaching environment, which is designed to kind of support the learning and kind of running parallel to the kind of core program. Christy, do you want to say anything about the kind of the career clinics? Because they're going to be really, really important in terms of helping move people forwards and break through barriers.
Yeah. So these are really designed to sit alongside and support the program. And so each month we'll have a theme and a focus, and it's really to give you kind of exercises to deepen the learning that you're doing in the program, and also tools that you can use. So for instance, the first one we're doing is about uncovering your values. That's the one that's on the screen there. Mm-hmm. So we'll go through exercises that that basically help you to uncover your values, because you can't kind of pick and choose them. You have to uncover the ones that you've got, and we're all unique. But then we'll use that to create a values-based decision matrix. So basically, it's a really simple tool that you can then use when you know your values to run decisions through it. So if you're coming up to a decision in your career or even your life, you can look at that decision and kind of evaluate it using your values as a tool. So we'll do that kind of stuff in those workshops.
Yeah. So it's a busy calendar of events, essentially. We have opportunities to ask questions, get support, interact with your fellow Pathfinders and also professionals, and then do group coaching as well. Okay, there's loads going on. We have an announcement space, okay, where myself and other coaches can make announcements which go out to you guys, okay? We've got a common room so you can interact and kind of make posts and chat to one another. For instance, I've dropped a thing in here about, guest suggestions. So if there's particular people you'd like to speak to in the guest chats, we can kind of go off and find them and connect to them for you. We've got a members directory just for Pathway members as well, so you can kind of see who's in the program and start to kind of buddy up. Speaking of budding up, okay, we have the Pathway Partners area, okay, an area where you can actually introduce yourself, okay, and then read other profiles as well and start to connect up and form those partnerships that we want to kind of see happen. That'll work you through it. And then we have the kind of the steps kind of laid out. Now at the beginning, we've got steps 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And what we'll do is actually, I'll go back to, no, I'm going to stay in here. Okay. Yeah. 1, 2, and 3. In here, this is kind of the core programs. This is the pathway now. Okay. So step 1 is reflection. You remember from the pathway. Step 2, explore. Step 3, immerse. Okay. At the beginning of each step, you'll have an introduction. Okay. Just talking you through what's going to happen within this particular step. Okay. And then you have the kind of subtasks which work you through this. So reflection, we talk through your superpowers. Okay, you watch a short video, download the worksheet, and do the task. Okay, short, bite-sized, kind of punchy things. Sort of thing you can kind of do in your lunch hour, something like that. We have timeline video, worksheet, and so on. Skills, preferences, and so forth. So within the kind of first step of reflection, there's 6 or 7 different steps which then work together to build your compass. And that's how the program is. It's very bite-sized. It's about knowing exactly what the next step is and not being overwhelmed and just kind of focusing in on that particular step to deliver that. Okay. So you don't have to do any more, any less, just work on your next step, your next thing. That's the kind of pathway area. Just for full orientation, if you've not been in CC Pro before, which many of you may have not, okay, we have a general space for all our members, okay, where we have our community announcements that we make regularly going out to people. We have our member of the week, okay, we highlight an individual person who's done some brilliant stuff in the last week and say a big thank you to them. We do win of the weeks as well, okay, which is on a Friday. We ask people for what are your wins and what have been your challenges in the last week. Again, it's about motivating you, kind of keeping you moving forwards, okay. We have an events calendar just for within CC Pro more generally as well. Okay, so there's lots of stuff going on outside of the program as well that you can get involved with. As a Pathfinder, you have VIP access to all this stuff. Okay, you get access to everything. If you miss any events, and you can see there's lots going on, we do recordings so you can kind of jump back in and watch them again. We've got lots of webinars and training events going back over the last couple of years or more in here. We have lots of guides that you can kind of gain access to. I'm not going to walk you through them, but you can kind of see there's lots in here. Then we have a general community space as well. Okay, so people, as they join, we encourage everyone in the community just to say hello, introduce yourself. Okay, and from that, we'll make connections and link you to other people and start to make those introductions. There's a general conversation space, stuff going on. Nando, who's been busy recently, saying hello and welcome back. Christy, you've been sharing some jobs. Thank you very much. And one of these was my old job at BirdLife, I seem to remember. News and events. And then you have the kind of core training program. So we have an applications training program, how to apply. You get access to that. And then we have the core programs of project management, okay, fundraising, and also communications. Again, as a Pathfinder, they will be there. So you can jump in and work on them at any time, okay, whenever you want. So let me just jump in, kind of show you what they look like. Okay, so you can kind of see this is project management design. Okay, so you can see the modules. Okay, and as with the other teachings that we have, there's a video to watch. Okay, and then we have associated tasks with them. Same for the fundraising, same for communications as well. What we do recommend with these, okay, is don't get overwhelmed. Okay, don't jump straight in and go and try and do the pathway and do the fundraising and do the communications, do them at the appropriate time. Okay, so once you kind of get through to the training element, then those training programs really kind of kick in for you. I think the last thing to mention really is, and we'll kind of throw fully open for Q&A, is in the application space. Okay, we have our training course about how to produce an application. We've got some great templates in here as well for CV, resumes, cover letters. We also have a showcase of applications in here. So these are successful applications. So people who have put in an application for, say, a warden at the RSPB, okay, you can come in here, you can download their form and their job description. They shared them with us freely, so we can share them with you. Okay, and you can learn from them and can kind of see what's worked for people in the past, and what might work for you. We also have an applications help area. Okay, so if people want feedback on their CV or their cover letter, you can drop it in here, and the community can provide feedback to you. We encourage you to give feedback on others as well to kind of get that feedback in return. And then we also have a kind of jobs area just within CC Pro, as well as the main job board where we share 15,000 jobs or more per year. Okay, so it's a really busy, it's a really welcoming, it's a really friendly space, and it's by far my favorite place on the internet to kind of go and visit every day and see what's going on, and provide support to you guys. Woo, okay, whistle stop. I know that's a big brain dump. Okay, so what it is, hopefully it gives you a good idea of the program. The only last thing to say really before we fully throw to you for Q&A is the program is open now until the 2nd of July, which is Sunday. Okay, so this Sunday coming. So you've got just under a week to enroll if you're interested. Okay, it's going to be open. At that point, we're going to close the enrollment doors, and we're going to throw all our focus on supporting, okay, the cohort 1 as they kind of work through that program. So if you're keen, do kind of click the link. You must have been receiving emails about this by now. You can click the link, look at the page, and then enroll from there. Okay, it does come with a money back guarantee, 14-day money back guarantee. So if you want to kind of jump in, give it a go, 14 days. If you're not, for whatever reason, happy and fully enthralled with the program, we want to give you the money back. Okay, so that's no problem at all. But you do have just till Sunday, basically. Right, okay, over to you guys. I can see some questions dropping in. Thank you very much. So do use the kind of Q&A button. Okay, we're going to put all our attention on that now, okay, and answer as many questions as we can. You can upvote questions on there. If you like the look of a question you want it answering to, that helps us to know what's really important. We can kind of jump on those as well, okay. So I can see some questions. I'm going to click by answering live. So sorry, I got your email, by the way. I will respond to that. Thank you very much, sorry. Are there limitations on the size of these activities? Large online groups do not always work for introvert person. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. There isn't, well, 2 ways of answering that. One is we're not going to put a limit on the group sizes, okay? We're not expecting enormous enrollments that is going to swamp huge groups. If that does happen, okay, we will absolutely break it down to make groups manageable, and we'll put more events on. A good example of that will be, we've got weekly Q&As. If those Q&As are too busy and people don't have enough time to answer the questions, we'll break out and make sure we have more spaces available for you. So we can cope with that. With regards to like the group coaching environment, that's going to be for groups of almost any size, okay? But again, if it gets really busy, we will break out. But I honestly, I don't expect that to be, a problem. I'm hoping for kind of quite a tight group that we can kind of support and get to know you through that. So it shouldn't be an issue, no. But we understand, I'm an introvert too, honestly. It doesn't look like it, but I am. So yeah, I wouldn't like to jump into a big, busy group Zoom environment and be expected to suddenly, get involved. So yeah, we totally get that. It's one of those programs where you can engage in the kind of the events and discussions as much or as little as you wish. You go at your own pace. Okay, so if you want to work through the program, okay, and if you want support via email, then that's the way we can make that work for you. So it's we can kind of fit it around you a little bit too. I don't know if you want to add anything extra to that one, Christy. That's Sari's question.
Yeah, I think you covered it. Other than just to say, I'm also introverted. So I totally hear what you're asking. And yeah, for the group workshop events, the career workshops, they're going to be the kind of exercises where it's flexible. So you can join, and you can, if you want to go all in, you can share as much as you want in that kind of event, but you can also sit back and listen and work through the exercises on your own without having to share that with other people in the group. So you can still cater it to what you're comfortable with. And if you want, you can challenge yourself a little bit to get a little bit outside of your comfort zone and share something you wouldn't normally. It's totally up to you. And yeah, like Nick said, we designed it to be really flexible. It's not just designed for extroverts.
Yeah. I think what's going to be nice about the program though is actually getting to know one another. We enjoy getting to know you guys genuinely. Sorry, I know you're working on, is it howler monkeys, black howler monkeys in Mexico? Yeah, and like we like understanding who you are, where you are, and it's nice for you to get to know each other. And I think through the programs, we'll be with you as long as you need us. Okay, you hopefully will be forming a real support and a friendship group, and you'll want to interact and engage. Okay, but it's on your own terms. You do what you want. You hold your own boundaries. We respect that fully. Thank you for your questions. Yep. I'm going to answer the second one for Megan. Okay. Are there any payment plans available for the program that could be split? Can you split the total up more? Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the question, Megan. We have two payment plans at the moment, which is annual and quarterly, which obviously you're aware of. The quarterly price is $599. That's euros, pounds, or dollars. Okay. And the annual is $1,999. Okay. So just a dollar under 2,000 essentially. And that's 2 months for free. We don't have any payment plans beyond that. Okay, the quarterly payment plan is kind of the payment plan, for the annual. Okay, sort of breaking it down a bit more. We haven't broken it down any further than that. I appreciate that might not be for everyone, but that's as far as we're going right now. Okay, yeah, thank you, Megan. Thanks for your question.
It's also because it's one of those things where it's really important that if you're going to do it, you're committed to doing it too. So we wouldn't want it wouldn't be a good fit for someone to join for a couple of weeks or a month, because you're probably not going to get the full value out of the experience. Like we really want people to come into the program and come out of it with like a huge amount of value and like a big shift in your career. And that takes some time to generate.
Yeah. Well put. Absolutely. Yeah. And 3 months being the sort of period where we think we're going to really see some traction for you and really move the needle. If broken down to say 1 month, it's going to be hard to kind of see that progression as you move towards your career. So yeah. Next question, answer live. Okay. How does the Pathway program compare to the Kickstarter program? Yeah. And does the Kickstarter program still exist? Yeah. Marnell. Yeah. Thank you for your question, Marnell. Good question. Yeah. So, the Kickstarter program does still exist and will continue to exist. Absolutely. Okay. So this is the next level program and focused really in on switchers. The big difference really is that the Kickstarter program is a self-paced course. Okay. Which helps you to clarify and get a career plan together. Okay. And it's limited to a 12-month period. Okay. So really it stops once you get a kind of career plan, and we go quite like level as to, how to apply. Okay. And how to deliver interviews. With the Pathway program, this is much deeper, more holistic program. Okay, it's an ongoing training and support program rather than a kind of online course. If you think about it like that, they're quite different offerings. So what we do is we're going to take you all the way through to employment with you on the whole journey. Okay, we're going to give you VIP support. So as you need us, we're there. We give you full access to all the training that you might need. Okay, that we have in our kind of catalog of training. Okay, so we're building that, and more. We're with you on the journey. We're taking you right through. Okay, rather than a self-paced course where you go off and kind of learn on your own with a little bit of limited support. This is a much deeper dive. All the training, all support. We're with you on your journey. Okay, but yes, the Kickstarter will still be available. Okay, and it will still be there as well. So feel free to also check out that option. If you think that might be right for you too. Woo, okay, lots of information downloaded. Thank you for your questions. If you've got any more questions, I'm happy to hang around for a little bit longer too. Okay, totally happy to do that. Christy, it's been another good event. I've been enjoying it. I've got a question from Jessica, actually just dropped in. Thank you, Jessica. Let me just answer that while we're here too. If you sign up for 3 months and then you want to continue for longer, is that possible to do? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we're either option 3 month, quarterly or annual, they are ongoing, recurring. Okay. So we stay with you as long as you want. So if you sign up for 3 months, it will just keep going until you stop, and you can cancel at any time. Okay. It's dead easy to cancel. Okay. You can stop it when you want. Hopefully that's when you get the job. Okay. That's our goal for you. Okay. So yes, you sign up for 3 months and you need 6 months or 9 months or 12 months, it will just kind of keep rolling forward. Okay. So that's kind of how the payment plans work. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that question. Good question. Yeah. Whew, I'm gonna have a little drink as well while I catch my breath.
We tend to talk, well, I should say we, but maybe Nick. We end up talking a lot on these events. It's always nice to hear from you guys. Like, it's really nice to connect with you and hear what your questions are, and interact a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks for all your hellos. I didn't circle back, but yeah, we've got Emma in Warwick, we've got Valerie in Boston, Massachusetts. Sorry, yeah, from Belgium, but in Mexico. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, Jess in Cornwall, Marnell in Canada, your neck of the woods, Christy. Margie, I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong, in The Hague, in the Netherlands, Den Haag. Yeah. And Marcelano in Mozambique. Welcome. Yeah, welcome all of you. Yeah. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, hopefully we've done a good job of outlining what the program's all about. Okay, and it's been a real pleasure you guys kind of joining us again this evening. Thank you for kind of coming along. We will probably share this recording, okay, so you can watch it back. If you didn't see the webinar from last Thursday, okay, then I know, Christy, I saw you kind of drop a link in the chat. I'd encourage you to watch that back and have a little look. It goes a little bit deep on the context and the background, how the program has been developed. And it also leads you through some kind of useful self-reflection exercises to start to get some clarity around kind of, identifying your dream job. Okay, thinking about roles and causes and how that kind of comes together. So if you didn't do it, thank you again, Christy, for kind of dropping that in. Yeah, that's there. If you want to find out more about the program as well, I can drop in the kind of the enrollment page as well. I'm just dropping that to the chat there as well, just going to make that super easy for you. Yeah, if you want to find out more, we are doing another webinar, a final webinar, okay, this Friday. It is, I believe, let me just triple check and get this right. It is, yes, it's 7:30 this Friday. Okay, and what we're going to be doing is I'll be talking to 3 or 4 people that we supported as career switchers. So I've been working outside the industry like you guys and looking and switching in. Okay, and they're going to be sharing their journeys, warts and all. Okay, they're going to say, why were they looking to switch? Okay, what steps did they take? Okay, and what have they learned through that process they'd like to share with you? Okay, that's it. I'd say just be honest, share what's and all, what's happened. Okay, the highs and the lows. Okay, so that will be a really interesting event. If you want to come along and listen to those stories, okay, then it hopefully be really inspiring as well. Feel free to do so. And then a final reminder, if you want to find out more about the program, enrollment closes on the 2nd of July. Okay, that's Sunday, the 2nd of July. It's going to be midnight UK time. So don't leave it too late, particularly you guys on the other side of the pond in North America, South America. Yeah, it will be a little bit earlier for you. Okay, so midnight hits a bit earlier for us.
Nick, I think you've got controls. The links just went to us, which isn't particularly useful. We already know where they are.
There you go. Yeah.
I think mine for the webinar rewatch, I also could only send that to you.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay. Well, I can do that. I have the full power and control of this, and there you go. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, I saw your question there also. So yes, so the link I've just shared again. Okay, so you can see the pathway link, and there's the link to the webinar too. Okay. Whew. Thank you again, everyone. A huge thank you, Christy, for being the co-pilot again.
So we're so excited about this. It's like we can't wait till the doors of the program open and we can actually get started. So, and really nice to connect with everyone who's here. Thanks for being here. Yeah, likewise. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Louise. Yeah, that's really great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah. And we'll hopefully see a few of you on the next event on Friday, and hopefully we'll see a few of you in the program too. We look forward to kind of getting to know you all. Yeah, thank you, Emma, Megan, Margie. Yeah, good to see you all. Take care, and we'll hopefully see you all again soon. All the best. Bye. Thank you, Marcelino and Val and Sari. Yeah. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.